Hello, my name is Amanda and I, along with my partners Paul and Angarad from Ignite Brand and Design, will be presenting Aid Miami. Before we get started, I wanted to take a moment and give you a glimpse of what we will be covering in today's presentation. We will be going over three main subject areas: our brand brief, our visual identity, and our brand personality. AID, which stands for Advancing Individuals with Disabilities Miami, is a firm dedicating to making the world a more inclusive place. The number of individuals with disabilities is increasing, and unfortunately, the opportunities to showcase their abilities are following behind. In AID Miami, we want to assist this population by providing training and resources for individuals with disabilities to have better, more equal opportunities to contribute in the workplace. We do this by building relationships with employers in the community and ensuring that all special needs and requirements are accommodated. Our proof points and value propositions is that through all things mentioned previously, like trainings, assistive technology, accessible transportation, and partnerships, that we will make Miami a more inclusive place to work and simultaneously give this population a great sense of independence, purpose, and belonging. Although there are many organizations that can somewhat be considered our competitors, such as the ones mentioned here, none relate as they do not encompass all the benefits that Aid Miami has to offer. They are much more specific organizations, some in the living sectors and some even in the job placement sectors, but none of them work with both the community and this population to unite and come together as one. The market in Miami is perfect for this, as it is the county with the greatest number of individuals with disabilities, with approximately 272,374 individuals. To give you an idea, the county with the least amount of people with disabilities is Lafayette, coming in at 1,238,000. So it is safe to say that being based in Miami is an advantage. Due to the market, Aid Miami will be focusing their efforts in targeting not only individuals with disabilities, but also their families, employers in the community, and local agencies. Now I'm going to turn it over to my partner Paul, where he will be diving into our brand's visual identity.
Thank you, Amanda. Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Shepard, and I'm here today to speak to you about the visual elements behind the Aid Miami brand. So when we developed the approved logo that you see here on this slide, we wanted to represent the inclusive and uplifting aspects of Aid Miami. And so that's what you see with our primary logo. We also wanted to represent the local Miami color scheme in our word mark. And so you see our approved shades of green and orange as a component of the Aid Miami word mark, with the tagline below that of advancing individuals with disabilities. So on this slide, you see some examples of how we might use the approved logos and some acceptable variations of those depending on the format and the platform in which they're being used. And we also have an example of how not to use the logo by adjusting things like the color scheme and font. So when we developed our color palette, we really wanted to reflect the brand identity and personality in the communities that we serve by using bright, vibrant, and dynamic colors. And so you see these as the primary colors that we'll be using in a variety of our marketing materials. And you really see these dynamic colors reflected in our secondary palette, which are also the same colors that you see in our main logo in that graphical element, that aspiring element. So these are colors that we view as being really complementary and background colors that could be used in a variety of our marketing materials. And so here you see our font, Palanquin, being used in a variety of contexts. So we're using Palanquin Dark for headlines, and we're using Palanquin Light for subheads and other copy that exists within our marketing and communications materials. And so to wrap up the visual piece, I just wanted to show you some examples of how all of these components can be leveraged in some of our different marketing materials. So you see we have an example of what Aid Miami business cards might look like, what our A4 letterhead and business envelope might look like, and some examples of apparel that can be worn by both Aid Miami employees and those who we serve. And finally, here are some examples of our logo being used on other materials, such as a coffee mug, a tote bag, pull-up banner or as the background on our mobile or laptop device. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation on our visuals, and with that, I'm going to turn over to my colleague, Angarad, to talk about the brand personality elements. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul, for that part of the presentation. How we show up in our collateral is really important as a touch point both to our external audiences, but also to our internal audiences. I'm going to pivot now and talk a little bit about our brand personality and how did we start brainstorming and getting there. Of course, you all were part of that brainstorming session. And so some of the attributes that we wanted to communicate through our brand and through our mission and vision were attributes like partnership and empowering, inspiration, technology, because a lot of our clients will really rely on technology, enriching and uplifting, and life skills. So we really utilized that brainstorming session and some of those attributes to build the brand and the personality that we want to be associated with. So here you see as we develop that personality into how does that show up in our collateral? How does that show up in media and social media? And so part of how we show up is the tone of voice. And so two aspects that really stood out that we wanted to ensure that we get across is that the tone of voice in our brand and our collateral, obviously it's inspirational by color, but it's inclusive. A lot of the pictures that we use are diverse faces and diverse situations and diverse disabilities, to be quite honest. And in addition, we want to be empowering. The whole point of Aid Miami is really to empower external stakeholders, those who apply for the jobs and get training for the jobs, and the internal stakeholders who support our mission through the work that they do internally. And we really want to empower people. We want them to feel excited about either coming to work or contributing to the organization, or being part of our training programs and employing those people who have gone through our programs. And that comes really inclusively with empowering. We want to make sure that those employees and feel that their needs are met. And again, with our logo, it really encompasses an inspirational, empowering, and hopefully the collateral as well, inclusive tone of voice. Finally, as we talk about really extending the reach of Aid Miami and what we want to accomplish, whether it's making sure that we get the message that we're here to the right audiences, or that we want people to contribute to the organization, whether it's time and help with training or employing those people who have gone through our training. So those touch points are going to be critical into how we market ourselves, both internally and externally. So here you'll see a few examples of those touch points. We have an Instagram and Facebook post, and again, a lot of our audiences are going to be rely heavily on the technology piece, not just because we're going to meet our audience where they're at, which is very important, but also that's because where our clients are going to be able to sometimes do their best work is through utilizing and leveraging the technology. We also are looking to how do we touch those who are we want to hire internally. And so again, those touch points of a flyer and putting out an email and ensuring that consistency of that empowering and inclusiveness, and through that our brand and our logo is part of those touch points. And so part of those touch points as well is to ensure that it's has empathy and a tone of empathy and a tone of inclusivity. And I think utilizing those diversity of faces and disabilities are really important to pull through in our touch points as well. So as we round off our presentation to you, our incredible clients, we're really excited to take Aid Miami into the market and see what we can all accomplish together. I'm really hopeful that we can really touch an audience that could really use our help, and that expands the awareness of what people with disabilities can contribute to the work environment and the workplace. Thank you so much.